The examples in your essay make it come alive. They make your because and therefore in your explanations valid, and therefore makes your essay more credible. They demonstrate that you're not merely making unverified claims, but claims that are rooted in reality. Lawyers require evidence to win their cases, and so do you. The examples are your evidence. A common mistake people make is to merely list or state their example without explaining its relevance. By merely stating it without explaining how it supports your point is a grave error, because you will come across as very disjoint and incoherent. Your example is better off not being there at all. Back to our sample argument, consumers rely heavily on image to judge a product's worth. If I follow with just an example like this, Apple's first iPod, for instance, beat its competitors because it was more aesthetically pleasing and it had a better overall image, despite being technically inferior to other market competitors such as the Creative Zen. So what? Make sure you link it back to your point and explanation so that it serves an actual purpose in your essay. Your example is not your entire essay, nor is the reader interested to know about the long and complicated background to the example itself. Keep them concise and to the point. The examples you choose may have many different facets to it, and people might have written whole books on them, but only highlight what is relevant and directly relevant to your point. You wouldn't want to ramble about the history of the making of the iPod if what you really want to say is about it outdoing its competitors because of its image, would you? And because there are a million examples to choose from to substantiate your point, be sure to choose the one or two that are the most meaty and least trivial. Of course, you could decide to talk about how you decided to choose one brand of cereal over another because it had fancy packaging and a free toy, to show that image influences one's decisions. And you could also choose to speak about Apple versus its competitors, such as in above. Clearly, one is more substantial than the other because of the scale and impact of the example. Examples from fiction could sometimes work well too, though if you use them, it is good if you burnish them with other examples from real life. The ideal example fits the explanation like a glove, being able to support each logical link established. While not necessarily always possible, if you can find an example like this, use it. If you can find more than one example that fits, use as many as you think you need, but try not to go more than 3 though, for you may run out of time to write your other arguments. Conversely, there are times where you really cannot think of any example. This may be due to the nature of the question, or you may just be having a mental block. You might run into such problems in questions that tend to be more philosophical and less grounded in real life. When that happens, you can try to use an analogy and substitute. What is the ... in the TEL structure then? The E's in the explanation and example do not stand for separate entities. The best essays weave the explanations and examples together to form an intricate argument that is both well substantiated and logically sound.